Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a watch from Oris, actually a few new watches from Oris in a variety of different dial colors with the Oris Rectangular. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as an authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end. But if you're interested in this watch, you want to learn more, a link to the product page will be in the description down below. Guys, let's jump into the video and take a closer look at this watch. Now, when many consider the brand Oris, there are models that come to mind first. Typically the Aquas, maybe looking at the Diver 65 and the many Big Crown options, whether it's the Pointer Date or the Big Crown Pro Pilot. But today we're looking at something a bit different, a dressier take in a rectangular case, here with the Oris Rectangular, a watch that has a balance between traditional refinement with its tank-style case and a pop of pleasing, more casual colors that are available, coming in a price range under $2,000. Now, this watch comes in 4 different color variants, including white, anthracite, Bordeaux, and a charming blue dial that we have here that we're going to showcase as a nice middle ground, and then equipped with a leather strap to match. So now first, let's talk about wearability here, especially considering the rectangular case, which is somewhat difficult in trying to calculate how that would transfer over into a round case equivalent. So here we have a 25.5 millimeter distance across the case from the crown side over to the 9 o'clock position, not including that crown, a thickness of 10 millimeters and a lug-to-lug dimension of 38.3 millimeters. In totality, this is a small, elegant watch. It's not going to shoot past any wrist and have any overhang to speak of, and it really lines up in the, I would say, arena in which many will classify these rectangular style watches. If I had to pinpoint a round case equivalent, I would say closer to a 36 millimeter case, if not slightly smaller than that. But with the optical changes that come with a rectangular or square case, it is going to perhaps allow this one to not feel the condensed lug to lug that might be jumping off on the spec sheet. Speaking also to the general wearability of the case is going to be looking at some of the architectural elements of the design itself. So the whole case is going to be curved and match the curvature of the wrist that will allow this one to wear rather flat. Another element that's going to help is the protruding case back that will have these curved slanted edges, having the movement be positioned right at the center and allowing that to be pressed into the wrist to not add any additional thickness to the case. Along the length of the case itself, you have this stepped case design, evoking some Art Deco inspiration without question, and lugs that are going to house that 19 millimeter strap tightly integrated to the case itself. At the 3 o'clock position, we do have a small crown, which is somewhat difficult to get your fingers under. And given this is going to certainly lean into the dress watch arena, we have water resistance here with the help of the crown and the screw down case back of 30 meters. Case finishing is going to be polished on every surface. Looking at the strap a bit more specifically, we have a calfskin strap. It's going to mirror the coloring effect of the dial. This one going to be dyed in tan to match that midnight shade of blue here. Strap is supple to the touch, does feature quick release bars as well if you did want to swap it out, and tapers down aggressively to an Oris sign buckle on the reverse end. Now, one point when working with a watch this small, especially a rectangular watch, is that everything needs to be proportionally downsized in order to simply be able to fit into the case design. The dial is no exception, and while there is a decent amount going on here design-wise, Oris has done well to integrate everything into this rectangular format and present a pleasing overall impression that doesn't feel compressed or difficult to read, at least compared to what typically might be expected from watches of this category. At the periphery, we have a railroad minute track with a combination of linear markings and Arabic numerals just within, and all printed in contrasting matte white. Just inside, another railroad style track demarcates the dial center, interrupted at the 6 o'clock position by a tiny date window with a black on white date wheel visible just beneath. At noon, we have a simple printed Oris word mark, the only text that's going to be present on this dial minus the Swiss made nestled at the 6 o'clock position, with a set of angular polished hands managing actual time telling at the center. As a note, this watch surprisingly does feature luminescent material on smaller plots as well as on the hands that glow actually pretty well, or at least better than you might expect from a rectangular dress-oriented watch, making this otherwise very dressy feeling design more versatile in daily use. And turning the watch over, we have the intriguing pyramid-style caseback that extends out to some degree, offering a truly small exhibition crystal that allows for a view of that smaller caliber lurking within. Now, when many consider consider Oris from a movement perspective, they're probably going to associate watches of this price range most commonly with the Sellita movements available on the market, most commonly the SW200, which is going to find itself in essentially every single collection within Oris's catalog in this 2000 or so price range. We also have seen the introduction of the Caliber 400, and that is certainly making its way in many more watches. But with the smaller case here and the dimension set, you had to look elsewhere to find a movement that could fit within this watch, one that could fit within that 25.5 millimeter wide case and also, of course, be cased up around it. This time, Oris is utilizing an Etta caliber, brand that once provided virtually all Oris's calibers before shifting over to Sellita. We have the 2671, a simple hacking and hand winding caliber that was selected for its size, coming in just over 17 millimeters in diameter, hence its very minute stature within the case. The visual effect of the tiny movement with its proportionally downsized rotor, still executed in that Oris red, is actually kind of fun, and of course, Etta has nothing to prove when it comes to solid, reliable calibers. The finishing is utilitarian, but no problem in having this one in view. Given the smaller barrel, the power reserve is nothing special at 38 hours, and in terms of timekeeping, this particular example is running between +8 to +11 seconds per day when we tested across 5 different positions. In terms of general specifications here, 28,800 vibrations per hour, 4 hertz for the movement. It does feature hacking and hand winding, hacking stopped in the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve again of 38 hours. So now to talk a little bit more specifically about the Oris Rectangular when making a buying decision. Who is this watch for necessarily? So I think without going any further, you could probably answer that question for yourself. If you're not in the market for a rectangular style watch, then this watch isn't going to be for you. That in itself is going to have some polarizing characteristics. It's going to also maybe be falling out of favor compared to what is the norm nowadays with the many watches that usually are catapulted up into the top tier of popularity, being those sports-oriented watches. Something like this, not going to get the same amount of love. Maybe not appealing to what a day-to-day wearer would be, but if you're trying to fit the mold of what a dress-oriented watch from a rectangular or square case could be, what other options do you have under $2,000? You could look at the likes of Longines with their Dolce Vita. You have the Bolton from Hamilton. But one thing I will add here, and this could be a good thing for some people or a bad thing, is the size of this watch is much smaller in stature. Great unisex watch can be worn by both men and women. And if you want something that leans into that old school tank watch from the mid 20th century and also getting a colorful array of dials to choose from, that's where this watch starts to make a lot more sense, because I would say under $2,000, this would be probably the most splash of color that you're going to find from a rectangular shaped watch, and also getting it in a package that's going to wear well on smaller wrists. Depending on the dial color, these also can have some casual upside, I would say, if you have the personality to wear this watch appropriately. Some people are just not going to be able to pull this off the same way. This is small in stature. I can't say this is going to be a watch that's going to be the best-selling watch for Oris this year, but I'm so glad that they decided to make this, because the amount of options when it comes to rectangular cases is rather limited. And I think if brands started to offer more and give some fun, eccentric flair like this one does, I think there would maybe be some changes in how collectors might be navigating their collections and maybe adding a piece like this to it. All right, guys, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That does help out the channel. But also, if you're in the market for the watch presented in this video, it is available on Baldassarre.com. We're a full authorized dealer of over 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the new products that we offer. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all next time.